Activision was #1 back then. We were working on the top 3 games in the world at that time. I was just promoted to lead designer when I started creating our studio's first ever dev diary. It was no accident they chose me.
This is my office at work.
I was the guy with the camera.
Hold on.
I've always been that guy.
Hello. Hello.
Having a camera was the only reason anyone paid attention to me.
How's your Steadicam trick working out there?
I carried it everywhere.
Adopt this.
Introduced it to everyone.
Dude.
Showing it everything. I would talk to it as if it was my best friend.
Also watch this. The crowd reacts based on the amplitude coming through the microphone.
For many years, it was my only friend.
Great games start with great people.
I ate with it, I slept with it, I even took a shit with it. It captured everything.
See this?
Everything I loved. Every win. Every loss.
I'm tired of losing. At everything, I'm tired of losing.
All my obstacles. And right now, he's my biggest one.
Do I clap at the start? Okay. Hello, I'm David Fifield, lead designer for the action RPG team here at Vicarious Visions. We're here today to talk about the prototype we've been developing called Fireteam.
David was one of the best combat designers in the world, an Army veteran, which gave him a leg up on me. He was famous in the gaming world for developing UFC's combat system, and we were both going after the same position. Lead designer on Call of Duty. The best thing about having a camera is you're always taking notes. I studied him like I studied all the greats. Miyamoto, Will Wright, Cliffy B. You need to study them.
There is design that could be called art.
Their strengths. Their weaknesses. Where they're going, where they came from.
I loved playing games.
All the great designers had one major flaw. Their games weren't real. I'm gonna change that. One day. Right now, I have to learn everything I can about motion controllers. The Nintendo Wii just hit, and everybody was excited to see what we would do with Marvel's Spider-Man 3.
And get swinging. Nice height. Good form. Ooh, nice flip.
I was assigned the tutorial missions. My job was to train you. That's always been my job. To make you better.
Yeehaw! Get along, little doggy. We got ourselves a rodeo.
I learned a lot on Spider-Man 3. And a lot about motion controllers. But the biggest lesson is that one day, you won't need a controller. I spent the next 2 years on Marvel titles, working on hero after hero, preparing myself for the ultimate hero game, the #1 game in the world, Guitar Hero. Shout out to my boy Jay Wiley. He no-tracked that song. He was the best guitarist I've ever met. He went on to be a composer for League of Legends.
What game is this from?
This is all from League.
That's from League 2?
Yeah, this is one of the first early champions, and she's.
That's what was cool about Guitar Hero. It was musicians and game designers coming together.
Hold on. Also watch this, the crowd reacts based on the amplitude coming through the microphone. How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody doing tonight?
I just created my first virtual reality experience. It was for Guitar Hero. I used the microphone as a motion controller. Live cinematic crowds. It was the most realistic music experience ever created.
Keep going, keep going.
The people that had a chance to test it, a lot of them didn't know what was happening. It was so real. It was making them nervous, scared. I could build their confidence. I can change them. I'm onto something here. I know it. I called it the hero. It was my first virtual reality experience. I knew right then all I wanted to create was realistic simulations of real life experiences. This was just the beginning for me. I never stopped. I didn't know at the time they already canceled Guitar Hero.
And in some sad news, Activision Blizzard announced today that they will disband the entire Guitar Hero franchise and cease development on its previously planned 2011 Guitar Hero title.
These game companies don't like to tell you those things. It's a surprise. Anyways, I already moved on. I was deep into Call of Duty now. I began dreaming up what a war simulator would feel like. What it would look like, sound like. Would experience the usual habits. Do we want to train them? I started absorbing mass amounts of content. Everything from the front lines in every war. All the documentarians, all the soldiers that would strap on cameras. I watched all their content over and over, studying it. How can I make this the most realistic combat simulation ever? I wanted to take Call of Duty to the next level. And then I had my shot. And I took it. I wanted to design a game that was more for a larger target audience, a bigger demographic. Roman history is everybody's history. I created 2 Call of Duty prototypes. One you might have heard of.
The footage of a Roman-inspired take on Activision's popular Call of Duty franchise has reportedly surfaced.
A demo for the lost Call of Duty game apparently impressed Activision and was even seen by CEO Bobby Kotick.
We almost had Call of Duty Roman Wars.
It's called Call of Duty Roman Wars, and the game followed the story of Julius Caesar's 10th Legion.
Activision considered making a Call of Duty game.
The game concept was proposed by a former employee while working at the studio.
Source wished to remain anonymous, going only by the codename Polemus.
Polemus told Games Radar that you'd play as several different characters, from a lowly grunt to Julius Caesar himself.
The Roman-themed Call of Duty game revealed this week was never likely to be made, according to Activision. An Activision spokesperson said in a statement to IGN, The game concept was proposed by a former employee while working at the studio.
The publisher was reportedly reluctant to attach the Call of Duty branding to the game because it was so different. The project was eventually scrapped, and Activision went with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare instead. We've reached out to Activision for comment. For more on Call of Duty, keep it here at IGN.
Roman Wars got shot down, along with my dreams of ever leading a Call of Duty team. I had to leave Activision in order to make this game. At the end of this dev diary, there's only two outcomes. Either I'm dead, or we succeed.